want to talk about failures. We're going to jump right into the PSA fail. PSA did us dirty. They did us dirty, man. And I'll tell you why. And so basically, we had a really, really awesome opportunity of meeting the great Tom Petty. We actually got to hang out with him, watch Warrior Game 7 when they lost to the Cavs, which wasn't as hard to watch when we were hanging out with Tom Petty. So we spent about 2 hours with him watching the game. And then we had backstage passes at the Great Fillmore in San Francisco, which is an iconic place of music. It's got Jimi Hendrix played there, the Doors. It's iconic. So we were able to watch the concert backstage. So after the show, Dan had a pick guard, and at the time, Dan owned a music store. And he asked Tom if he could sign this for him, and, Dan could have it up in his music store. So as you can see, he signed it, drew a little picture of a guy smoking. Maybe it's himself. I don't know. Wrote the music shop, signed it. Tom Petty. Boom. Awesome little piece. The next slide, you can actually see us hanging out with the great Tom Petty, taking a picture with him.
Allegedly hanging out.
Allegedly. And then we even have footage of us filming the show from the balcony. It was actually Mudcrutch. They were doing a cover of a great Bob Dylan song. So as you can see, we sent it into PSA DNA, and they said not authentic. Not authentic.
You guys weren't there.
Not authentic. So we paid them $300 to send in 2 items. One item we sent was a Shaq Kobe ball, which we did not know if it was authentic, so whatever. This one, unless we dreamt it, unless this video was just curated like we just had a stand-in for Tom Petty, they basically said that several factors became apparent during our examination that prevented us from certifying this autograph. They are as follow: atypical letter slant angle and or pitch, excessive pen pressure and or improper shading, irregular letter shape and or formation, irregular spacing between letters, lack spontaneity, rhythm, conviction, and or movement, poor line quality and transition between connective strokes, sizing of letters disappropriated, exaggerated, and undersized. So we never planned on selling it, but because it's something that's going to, be awesome for us to hold on for the rest of our lives, never planned on selling it. But this makes me question the whole process. I know they have to examine these things and make decisions, and there is a lot of fraud and forgery going out there. But we know that this happened. We know that we had Tom Petty sign this for us, and they basically said no. So they took our $300. It was $150, I think, for each, or maybe it was $200 for the Shaq Kobe and $100 for the Tom Petty. $300. They sent us our items back with nothing. This is all we got back for our money. So Joe Orlando apparently signs every single one of these, which I don't know what shape his hand is at this point. But
let me look at this.
But so my point is, you got to question this. PSA DNA is one of the number one authenticators, probably the number one. PSA, JSA, Beckett are probably the big three when it comes to authenticating memorabilia, authenticating autographs. But this is an item that we know is legit, and it did not pass. So I know there's other stories out there like ours, but it just makes you question the whole process. Now, if we were this was our first authentication submission. So if we were a dealer that was submitting autographs for the last 10 years, would we get it? I don't know. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts in the chat about this. And does this concern you if you have an item that you're thinking about sending in?
So it brings up tons of question marks with the authentication service that they provide. You missed one here. 8 is generic copy and paste answer when you have no idea what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
That's on there as well.
Yeah.
Signed Joe Orlando. One other thing is that this was done in one day. I didn't pay for any overnight service. I paid for the general 30-day turnaround, and I had already had an email within 1 day of them receiving it. So everybody talks about how obviously their card sector and the authentication sector are probably run as two different businesses, and the card grading is probably stacked up and super backlogged. But obviously the authentication service is
Not.
quick money, and I mean quick money. It was done in a day and sent back to us. I actually had it sent to LA and back within 1 week with a John Deere letter saying, "Sorry, bro. Maybe next time."
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah,
A useless company. Absolutely. And I don't care. I don't like. I know that's legit. Like you were saying, we were never going to sell it, but Aaron has a point. Maybe we dreamt it. Maybe we were all having like a lucid dream when we were all physically in each other. Me, you, and TJ were in each other's dreams, and we were. I had a couple silver sodas, so I don't know. Maybe I was a little buzzed up, but I remember that. I know he signed that because I remember very specifically that I was told that he didn't want to sign. He doesn't sign pick guards.
Right.
He signs everything else but pick guards. I didn't know that. Brought in a pick guard. Little conversation. Then he basically signed it. Not only did he sign it, but he also drew himself smoking weed.
Well,
right there.
That's an allegation. I don't know. It could be
a cigarette. And then the story's better with. We're in California, man. It's
not as touchy anymore.
No, it's not touchy at all. You can go to the store and just.
Dan, you don't have to live like a refugee, Kelp says.
But
it's heartbreaking.
I want to know, has anybody had an experience with PSA's authentication service where you either had the same thing happen or they said they certified it and it was legit? Are they cracking down? Do they need to know it needs to come from one of their regular dealers that they deal with, and they make enough money authenticating those companies?
It doesn't matter though. They've still got our money, regardless if they give it to us.
It doesn't. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. But they screwed up on this. They are wrong.
Well,
I don't think it was Joe doing this one. I think he probably passes it off to like Bill or Jim or somebody like that. It probably wasn't Joe, but they screwed that one up.
Yeah, there's people in the chat saying his buddy got the same letter for a Green Day guitar and a T-shirt that he got in person. We got Steven saying it happens often with friends playing in the NHL. Quickly signed, and their auto doesn't look like their traditional one. Is it still real? No, question mark. And and I know it's at the end of the day, it's a judgment call, and I guess you can look at it like maybe they don't pass away, they don't pass through everything, and maybe there's like an algorithm to it. That maybe they gave too many Tom Petties out. I can't believe there's that many Tom Petties getting sent through authentication.
My issue is how quick it was done.
Right.
It almost seems like they got it and they're all, yeah, we can't do that one.
Yeah, he
send it out.
He drew a guy smoking a cigarette.
Actually,
yeah, would you forge something like that? If you were gonna forge Tom Petty's autograph,
would it
just be the autograph?
Would I personally describe a defunct music store in San Jose, California, if I was going to make a fake signature?
No.
Would I go that far? Would I?
No.
Apparently, I would.
Now, is there a way for you to send in the proof that you were with them? I guess that could be counterfeit as well. You could steal somebody else's photo, so maybe they don't go by that. Obviously, you just fill something out on the website, or you fill out this form, you send it to them, and then this is what happens. But you would think if there's one guy that looks at it, right? I don't know the process because I haven't been privy to the process, but I would, if I was running an authentication process, especially if I'm charging $100 for an item. All right, if one guy doesn't think that's legit,
it needs to go to somebody.
It needs to go to another guy. Yeah. And then if those guys if one guy says yes, one guy says no, then maybe a third guy comes into play.
Yeah, but now
it's probably just one guy.
Now it's costing way too much money.
Right.
Now you're getting everybody
that's
involved
true.
in it. So it is more cost effective to basically have one person look at it, and I guess he is trained if he has any doubt. And we don't know how it works. Maybe his desk that day, he had 50 items. And he was told, you got to get through these 50 items in 8 hours.
And it's just easy to do this.
It's going to be a lot easier to be like, all right, copy and paste. No. I'll give 10 of these items a go. I'll give 40 of them a no-go. We're still getting paid regardless. Snake oil. I think they're selling snake oil over here.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree.
Why would you? You can't. Prove to me, PSA.
Yeah, and I would say, like we were saying before, I'd like to know the.
And your slabs look like shit.
I like PSA slabs. But I would like to know, like, is there, like, let's just say Brian Gray does a lot of authentication now. He has his own authentication. He uses Beckett mostly, but let's say Brian Gray submits it. Does he have more of like a 90% pass through rate? There's got to be something like that. Well, this guy always gives me authentic autographs, so I'm not even going to really research it as much. This guy sends in 500 of these a week, and you know what? I'm sure it's legit, so I'm gonna do this one. But this guy, Doug and Dan, it's Dan's first order. It's probably not legit. It's just easy for me to copy and paste.
And how many Tom Petty autographs are they having come through to reference? Probably not a lot.
He doesn't sign a lot.
He does not sign a lot. He had a cut auto in Transcendent, which obviously Topps certified. I don't think they sent the PSA. They wouldn't have been, even if they did, they would have been like, no, it's not legit because we don't do those. I want to know what they used as reference. Do they have Tom Petty's autograph on file, pictures of it where they can compare it?
They said, when I remember sitting through at one of the summits, I can't remember what year, I believe it was either Joe Orlando or James Spence, one of those guys, that they basically have a portfolio of autographs, of examples of autographs, and they can go through. It's probably on a computer now, but they can go through and they can look at the file and they can see which ones are legit. So, but does that make up for, like, look at Kobe. Kobe signed rookie year different than he signs now. So did they have a Tom Petty autograph from the 70s they were looking at? Did they have a Tom Petty autograph from the 80s? This was, how many years ago was this? 3 or 4 years ago?
How many artists, how many athletes do we see that their autograph is different on different items?
Right.
He would sign this differently than he would probably sign an 8x10 photo.
Correct.
Or a guitar.
Yep.
Or like a concert t-shirt or something like that. Players, they sign stickers different than they do on card. Or they signed... Look at Giannis's auto has changed.
Yep, big time.
A lot. Bryce Harper, another one. His autograph changed.
And Dave says that too. Look, how do they know the one that they compare it to is legit as well, right? So maybe the original one
is it safe to say that anybody can be an authenticator? Because nobody really knows. So unless you were unless Joe Orlando was drinking some silver sodas with us at the show and saw us get it done, he would never. Nobody at PSA would have any idea if it is legit.
Right.
So they are basically flipping through a picture book of autographs and then comparing it, and that is the end all be all in our industry for authentication. Come on.
Gotta be better, right? Gotta be better. Now, I just couldn't wait to do the segment. I wanted to send it to Beckett first to see what happened, and then do the story. So maybe Beckett probably doesn't watch it, so we'll probably still do it, and they won't know. And we'll see if it comes back legit from Beckett. Because that's something to think about, like what's going on. Or JSA. Maybe we'll use JSA, James Spence. We'll send it to them, and we'll see what happens. But it's almost like it's a lottery. They just flip a coin and legit. No. Tails is a legit and heads is fake.
Did they random.org our authentication?
I think that's what I'm trying to say. Random.org? Yeah, random.org. We lost on both.
Do they have a yes/no magic 8-ball that they just shake?
That's how they decide.
Is that the skill? Is that the authentication we're looking at? Just shake the magic 8-ball? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Send the John Deere letter.
But you got to think the John Deere letter.
Actually, do you get a letter if it passes? Do you get like a great job?
No, it has. You've seen them with other memorabilia.
I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't seen them. They don't give them out.
They don't give them out.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna start an authentication company. You down, C-Rad?
I'm down. C-Rad 6.5 Conrad Grading Service.
Grading service, baby.